In the meantime, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know while we're here, because it's the holiday time, we have 33 more days until the new year starts. How scary is
Wow.
that? Yeah. So
That,
take it away. Go ahead and introduce yourself. And then as people join in or have questions, I'm going to be checking. I've got my phone out, so I'll be checking to see if anybody asks questions on the live stream too.
okay, perfect. So I am Rhonda Kremske and I lost 120 pounds. I have actually lost over 100 pounds two other times in my life. My difficulty has always been keeping the weight off. So that's what's so exciting. This time I have kept the weight off for 4.5 years now. I have finally figured out how to live a healthy lifestyle that does not make me feel deprived. The big thing is I'm not hungry. And because of that, I have been able to sustain it. So that's what's super exciting. And even with delicious holiday meals, like yesterday, instead of making sweet potato casserole with the marshmallows on top, I made a butternut squash casserole and I made a pecan crumble that went on top with the brown sugar swerve and butter and all that stuff. And literally my parents always invite like the world to their house. We had 21 people there and I must have had at least 6 people come up to me and say, this was my favorite dish here. They loved it.
Isn't
And
that
it
nice?
was, yeah, totally sugar free. And that's the big thing is I made a cookie cake that is amazing with, I used brown swerve in the frosting. So it almost had the caramel colored frosting on top. It's amazing. A green bean
Amazing.
casserole that's delicious. Just tons of options that you don't have to feel deprived. Is that my computer making
I
some
think
kind
it's
of
I
noise?
think it's a reminder that we're starting our Zoom. At least I got
Oh,
the same one.
oh, that must be something was bouncing up and down.
Yeah, it's a little start. So I had a schedule. We started already.
That's right.
It's funny that you said that because I did the same thing. Now, I don't like turkey, so I opted to have, and then I decided to do some sugar-free desserts as well. So I made a chocolate peanut butter fudge and I made just some little cheesecakes and I did a whole bunch of variety of things so people could pick. But nobody said a thing. I never mentioned to them that they didn't have sugar. They were made with sugar alternatives. And so nobody even knew. It was perfect. I made some soft chocolate chip cookies. It was great. That's been the way to stay consistent. And I know that you're the same. So maybe you could say, why was this time different for you? What changed? I know you said you lost the weight before and you lost the weight this time. What changed in the 4 years since you've maintained it?
Yeah, I think just the fact that I finally have figured out how to properly fuel my body instead of always blindly following other people's rules. I did the research myself and I became a certified health coach through the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute.
Yep.
And through that, learned so much more about our bodies and, and how to properly fuel them. And it's been a mindset shift too. So instead of thinking in the past, whenever I was following some kind of a diet and just blindly following the rules, I would always think, oh, I can't wait to hit my goal so that I can X or Y. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear the noise. My husband's outside
Nope.
doing some kind of
Can't
work
hear it.
outside.
Nope.
Okay,
Can't hear
good.
you. Fine.
Anyhow, this time I recognized as I was losing that I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed the journey. I enjoyed what I was eating to lose weight. So I wasn't ever thinking to myself, oh, I can't wait to have whatever. Whenever those thoughts would come across my mind, I'll give you an example. I was on a road trip with my family and they wanted to stop at Panda Express and they got their orange chicken, which used to be my favorite. So for a brief moment, I was feeling sorry for myself. Oh, I can't just have orange chicken with my family and I can't have the rice and wah. And so my husband says, and he's so sweet because he's supported me through all of this. Like when I've been really heavy and I've been over 300 pounds before, he said to me, Rhonda, there's just more of you to love. Like he's never been one who's forced me to lose weight. But as I've been losing, he's happy because he sees how much better I feel, how much energy I have, how
And you're
healthy I
healthier.
am.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's what he wants for me. So anyhow, he says to me that night, he's like, Rhonda, you have come up with ideas and ways of making all these delicious foods. I'm sure you can come up with an idea for orange chicken. And in my grumbling and moaning at the moment, I was like, oh, you're right. It really wouldn't be hard. And so that's what I did. I came home, created a recipe that was for orange chicken, totally sugar-free sauce. And it's super easy. I buy the G. Hughes orange marmalade.
Yep.
or I'm sorry, G Hugh's orange marinade and a sugar-free orange marmalade, and I just mix the two. And so that
And
becomes the orange sauce. Now, granted, the G Hugh's products, I don't use them every day because they do have sucralose, and I try to
right.
avoid artificial sweeteners. I stick with either stevia, monk fruit, or erythritol, but it's better than having the sugar. And now it's actually become one of our family favorites. My son, who's lost 108 pounds following this plan, that's one of his favorites. I think he could eat it every day. And so the way I think of it now is, if I hadn't have felt that little bit of, oh, poor me, my husband wouldn't have said that, and I wouldn't have created this new recipe that now is something that is sustaining us and keeping us totally satisfied. To me, honestly, it's even better than the junk orange chicken that you can get in restaurants. And it's a healthy version. That's been the big mindset shift. And I also have thought to myself, instead of thinking I can't have something, because if you tell yourself you can't have it, you're going
That's
to
what
want
I
it
think
so
about.
much more. Yeah.
Right?
So instead of saying I can't have something, I think to myself, no, I'm choosing not to have it temporarily. Eventually, I might be able to reincorporate it, not sugar. That's one thing I will never reincorporate, but other things I can go back to those. And so it's been that mindset shift of getting out of that diet mentality and that all or nothing. I was either all in and going 100% focused on what I was doing, and if I stepped on the scale and it wasn't moving the way I thought, then I would go the opposite direction, and I'd go to Dairy Queen and have a blizzard and have brownies. And once I did that, then I was like, I might as well wait till Monday. And then Monday never came. So it was getting rid of that diet mentality. Now, if I make a mistake, I own it. I admit it. I
And you
tell
move
myself,
on.
you know what? I'm going to make the next best choice, and I'll go drink some water. I'll go for a walk. I'll remove myself from the temptation. I'll get rid of the temptation, whatever. But it's that mindset shift that is huge. And so that's what I try to teach my clients, is this doesn't have to be an all or nothing mentality. This is
Absolutely.
truly a lifestyle.
One of the things that I noticed, and one of the things I talk to my groups about, is that when you give up sugar, you stop all those highs and lows. You
Yes.
stop all the cravings, you stop feeling out of control, and it gets rid of the obsession of food.
Yes.
I have found that when you stick to foods as we're meant to eat them, then you can get rid of the processed foods, get rid of the sugar, and all of a sudden that obsession with food, that constant thought that you need a snack, that you need to eat more, goes away. And
Yes.
if you're just fueling your body as it's meant to be fueled, as God gave us the food, then everything just evens out and your weight does come off. And I
Yes.
know that everybody's anxious to get it off like yesterday,
Right.
but you got to give your body time to get with the program. So it's,
Exactly. We didn't gain it overnight, so we
right.
can't lose it overnight. We have to think of it in that term.
I love what you said about enjoying the journey, enjoying the process. Because my favorite thing to do is to take what you did with your orange chicken, is to take a recipe and make it healthier so that it fits into my lifestyle and I can have it whenever I want. That's my
Yeah.
favorite. I love that.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about, maybe you can show some slides talking about what sugar actually does for us, why we need to get rid of it. Now, I've talked endlessly about this, and so sometimes it's good to have somebody else's perspective on it. So if
Oh, yeah.
you would be willing to
Yeah.
share it, that would be great.
Yeah. Sugar, that is the best thing you can do, regardless, for anybody. And that's the problem, is that most Americans, especially, are addicted to sugar.
Oh, I
And
definitely was.
yeah, it's 9 times more addictive than crack cocaine. And people don't even recognize that there's sugar in everything. So even like almond butter, you think you're making a healthy choice. If you read the ingredients, that's the key, is to read ingredients, because 9 times out of 10, even in those almond butters, the first ingredient sure is almonds, but the second is organic cane sugar.
And it hides under all different names. It's amazing
Yes.
how clever those marketing people could be. They're
Oh,
like, "Is this
yeah.
enough sugar?" And then you look and you're like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, and
Everywhere.
they've got the label loopholes, because even if you just look at the label that shows like added sugars and you don't get anything that has added sugars, that's still not even enough because that's for 1 tablespoon or something, whatever the serving size is. So if it's 0.5 grams or less, they can say it has zero, but you look down in the ingredients and like you said, there's 52 names for sugar. So they can hide it in there and it's still there. So you're getting, if you eat more than 1 tablespoon, you're getting a substantial amount of sugar and you don't even know it.
Crazy how
It's
fast
sad.
it adds up. Have you ever
Yeah,
seen those graphs of how much is in like a can of soda? And they show
oh,
like the actual sugar. It's crazy. And
it
so
is crazy.
my son has lost, I want to say 30 to 40 pounds, somewhere in there. And all he did in the beginning was give up soda.
Wow.
Just by giving that up, the sugar alone really set him on a path to that weight loss. And then, of course, starting to incorporate more healthy protein and fats that really helped move along. But it was that first step of giving up sugar that
Yeah,
really gave him the boost. And so
that's
I
amazing.
always tell people, if you want to make a change, that's a good place to start.
Yeah. And then as far as the science behind it, if that's what you wanted me to share a little bit on too,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you've shared this too, but when you're eating sugar and carbohydrates, what happens is your body triggers an insulin response. And so the insulin is important because it takes the sugar to the cells and it acts like the key to open that receptor to allow it to be used for energy. The problem is that people are constantly eating and constantly eating the carbs and the sugar. And when it goes to a cell that one is already full, it's going to say nope, and it'll take it and store it. That's why insulin is known as the fat storage hormone, because it's going to store it as belly fat or in your liver. And that way you can use it later. The problem is that we as Americans typically don't ever have a later. We don't ever give our body enough break to
Right.
allow us to pull from our stored fat. And so that's why incorporating in also, that would be my second big tip with getting off of sugar is giving your body that break from insulin and the break from digestion, not constantly eating. I was always taught you have to have breakfast, then you need a snack and lunch and snack and dinner and snack. And they want you eating 6 small meals, eat every 2 hours. And
And
that's
that was
so
what I was taught
not
too.
true. Yeah. And
I think that's really an old style of nutrition because I can say I took my nutrition classes like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and that is what every expert at the time was saying. Every class I took was like, you have to keep that fuel fire burning and you need to eat all the time and you need to, and then you had the opposite. You had to fast 3 times a week for 24 hours. You had, so the experts even were all over the place.
right.
But it isn't until recent years where I started to really recognize that I need to eat more like my great grandparents ate, my grandparents ate, where they ate local foods, in season foods, lots of meat, lots of fat, lots of healthy fats like olive oil and grass fed butter, and coming full circle, going back
Yeah.
to our roots. And I'll say it's more of an American diet, an American standard diet, and more of a primal kind of diet where you're not eating all of the processed junk and you're eating natural
Exactly.
foods.
Yes, the way
So,
God intended.
yes,
Yes.
exactly. So tell me about your group. I know because I've been a part of your free challenges and seen all the great work you do. But for those of us that, for those of people that are listening that haven't maybe not heard of you before,
Yeah.
maybe you can tell them what it is you do in your group and how you help people get to where you go.
Okay. Yeah, super. So I have two groups. I have my free Beyond Keto group, and then I have a group that when people need a little bit more structure and accountability and more recipes and support, they go to my paid group. The Beyond Keto group is a great place to start. We do challenges in there. I'm going to have one starting January 6th. And you've been through them before, and I teach the
It's
science
fantastic.
behind, yeah, the science. And the amazing thing is that people just from participating in my challenges have been able to lose 5 pounds during the first 5 days,
Right.
or they've gone on to lose 10 pounds over a 10-day period. It's amazing. And it's just truly if they implement what I'm teaching, because it's learning the science behind the plan that has helped me lose 120 pounds. My son lost 108. Trisha Mason, who's in my groups, lost 90, kept it off over a year. I've got my dad has lost almost 135 pounds now. My mom's lost 77. So it's my immediate network, but I've helped now almost, I'm close to hitting 500 people that I've been able to support through this journey.
That's
And
amazing.
so many of them have been with me in my paid group since I started it back in 2020, and they're still with me today. So It's just it's the support, the accountability, showing recipes. In my Beyond Keto group, I've created a guide. If you click on guides at the top of that group, it's called the Holiday Eating Made Healthy. And there's 3 videos that I've done with different topics. One's about traveling because that gets a lot of people off track and a lot of people travel for the holidays. One is about stress because there's a lot of added stress during the holidays. And then one is just about making healthy recipes and tweaks, what we're talking about at the beginning. And then there's also recipes. And so many of my clients made those recipes and were amazed at how good they were and how they didn't feel deprived and how even their guests enjoyed them. If anybody's
You though,
interested,
don't you? I'm sorry.
oh,
Feel
that's all right. I was just going to say, if anyone would like to join us in the Beyond Keto group, it is completely free. You have access to so much.
Mhm.
And it's the challenge especially would be great. It's a great way to start January 6th. But if you want to just jump in now before the holidays, it's a great time as well because truly you can enjoy the holidays and feel good. That's what a lot of people told me yesterday is I can't believe how good I felt after eating this. I didn't feel like I had to lie down for a long winter's nap after finishing my meal. I had energy. I wanted to go for a walk. I want to feel good. That's the
Right.
difference.
Well,
And yeah, if you don't mind, while you're sharing that, do you mind if I share my screen? I
no, I
can't.
was just gonna say that. Maybe you could show some
Yeah.
pictures and
Yeah.
and you can get people because it's one thing to tell everybody, oh, they lost all this weight, but visually, I think that's very important. And also I want to say that here, let me allow that. Also, I want to say that what I have found too is that a meal doesn't have to be a traditional meal anymore. You can have some great protein, and that is the meal. You don't need all the extras and you don't need all the things. So sometimes it's just simplifying things so you don't have to make yourself crazy.
Yes, exactly. Hold on, let me just get to my photos here. Hopefully this
Yeah,
will, okay. Okay, are you able to see my
I
photos?
am. I can see it.
Okay. So let me just show you one example here. This is my dad last year. So this was just last Thanksgiving. And now let's see, I think I'm gonna have to go backwards. This is my dad this year.
Amazing. Amazing. And I
Yeah,
think he's
so
so proud of himself too.
he feels so much, he's back to golfing again. He's back to just living life to the fullest. And if I show you, there's a picture of my parents at the table. Hold on. Oh, you know what? I could just go here. All right. So there's my parents at the table last year. They're the 2 on the end there. So this is my dad here, and here's my mom. Now, let me see. My tech skills are not the greatest, so bear
Oh,
with
mine
me
either.
here. So,
And they change. You think you know what you're doing and then it doesn't work.
I know. And there they are this year. She's lost 77 pounds. This house, we're at their house here, and they live on that you have to walk up 2 flights of stairs just to get to their front door. They can do that easily now. They can carry groceries up with them. It's truly night and day difference.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
if I go back, hold on, let's see, how do I get out of here? Let me just I'll go here just to show, this is a photo of me. So the one that's on the far left, it was me back in 2019. And then by 2020, that's where I was at. And then in May of this year, I was like, I can't believe I can still wear the same dress. That's never happened for me. I have always gained my weight back. So the fact that it's now been over 4 years, for over 4.5 years, and I've been able to keep the weight off is just, that is what has helped me
Fantastic.
tremendously. So there's another one of my mom, there's another one of my dad.
Fantastic.
That's my son. He's lost 108 pounds.
Wow.
So,
Life changing.
and they were type 2 diabetics, and they've brought their A1Cs down to a normal range. So that's been amazing. And let's see, I was just going to show there's another one that shows my before and after too. So yeah, it is life changing, and I'm never going back. I can remember how I felt, and that's why I keep these at the forefront, because I remember the pain I was in. I remember my back hurting. I remember every time I stood up, I was in tremendous pain from the inflammation, and I was
Right.
just not healthy. And to fast forward to where I am today, that's what drives my passion to help others, because I want them to experience the freedom that comes with being able to go in your closet and pick out any clothes and be able to wear them, or to,
Shopping. Go
yeah,
shopping. used
Yeah.
to be
And it,
so emotional for me to go shopping. I used to cry in the dressing room. And
yes.
just having that freedom to go in there and try stuff on and know that it's gonna fit is just amazing.
Yes, absolutely. And just to have the not have to think about it every second of every day. Like I can remember waking up in the morning and it was the first thought on my mind. Oh no, I'm still fat. What am I going to do? You know, and it was a terrible way to live, but it was true. That was, and I was like, okay, am I starting this diet? Am I going to go to this diet? What am I going to
You
do?
feel hopeless. You feel like, "Oh my
Yes,
gosh, I'm never gonna conquer this." It's so huge.
yes,
I understand.
exactly.
Now, do you recommend people weigh themselves frequently or take an average weight, or do you just go by the feel of the clothes? And
Well,
what's your thought on that?
I think it's important that you notice those non-scale victories, like my dad's belt. He's been able to go from a 54 down to a 38
Mhm.
in his waist size. So I'm constantly telling people to recognize those types of non-scale victories, like their rings fitting better, their clothes
Right,
fitting better. But I do feel that the scale is a great source of accountability. It's the first line of defense. It's what lets you know what you're doing today, how it affects the scale tomorrow. So I think it's an important part of the process, but I talk a lot about not finding your identity in the number on the scale
right.
because that was what I did for too long. And when I
Me
would
too.
step on the scale and it didn't go down, that's when I would go off the rails. So I want people to weigh themselves frequently, but I don't want it to determine their next step. I want it to be information, but
Right.
not the determining factor on, okay, I didn't lose today, so forget it. This doesn't work.
That was the old me. I was so attached to the number that if it didn't change and I was working hard, I thought it wasn't working and I need to try something different. And
Yes.
for
Yeah.
years and years. One thing I will say that's helpful is this app called Happy Scale. So it gives you an average. So if you're a person that feels like you have to weigh yourself every day, you plug it in, and at the end of the week, it gives you an average weight for the week. And then
Oh,
you look at
nice.
average to average. And what I love about it is that it will show you a graph of your weight. And anytime you look at it, it's up, down, up, down, up, down. But the trajectory is always, you can look at the
Yes,
overall. And it's such a nice visual because you
that
might think one
is.
day it goes up and you're like, oh, but then you look at the whole graph and you're like, okay, it's still working.
And that's exactly what I teach my clients too, is look at that downward trend. Because if you look at my 120 pounds, I logged it in an app called Lose It, but
Same.
and it shows you that you can click on the graph for 3 months, 6 months, the whole plan, whatever. And if you look at just a week of it looks like a cardiac line. But what you look for is that downward trend. And that's what matters. As long as you're trending in the right direction, it is working, and nobody's going to lose in a straight line. No one's going to lose every single day, and we can't have those kind of false
True.
expectations.
But I do think that's what the diet industry has told us.
Yes.
We've all been lied to. Like you
Yeah.
look at the food pyramid and you think that is exactly the opposite of what you should do. And
Yes.
then you look at what the commercials are telling you that, oh, it's just going to come right down. And that just never happens. But
No.
in my mind, I always thought that's what was supposed to happen. So I thought it wasn't working. So you can look, this is just my week, up, down, up, down, up, down. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's because I didn't drink my water as much the night before, or sometimes it was I didn't sleep well and I had a lot of inflammation, and whatever the case may be. But overall, for the week, still went down. So
That's right.
I think we have to really get that mind game on,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I love that. So that's called happy scale.
happy scale.
I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah.
Takes
That's
all the
cool.
stress out of weighing yourself.
Yeah. I like that.
So yeah, I used to write it on a chart in my bathroom I used to only weigh myself once a week because the daily scale got really emotional.
Right.
Now I'm got that all under control. I've been pretty much steady for years now, so it's not a big deal. But I did have a little hormonal change coming into menopause, fun
Yeah.
time. So I had to keep a little more track of it.
Right.
But tell me, like the average person coming into your group, if there is such a thing as average, I imagine you have many women who are midlife
Yeah.
or older because that
Right.
our bodies tend to change and it starts to creep up on us out of nowhere.
Yes.
But you also probably have some younger people like your son.
Right.
So
Yeah.
everybody can get healthy and everybody can change.
That's what's
And
amazing. Yeah.
what's the first thing you do with people? What's the first thing you advise them to do? If they come into your group, how do they start taking action?
Yeah, if they join my Real Health Resolvers group, there's a full orientation that they go through. It takes about an hour, but it gives very specific, it gives you, I call it the toolkit for success. And it has 7 guidelines. It's got the approved food list. So either yes to eat it or no, you don't. Then the thing that's different though, because I've followed those kind of things in the past, and although I could always succeed at the beginning, it never worked long term for me. The
Yes,
big thing is I explain why, the why behind why are we following these guidelines. Not only do I tell them why, but I tell them how to make it a habit, because that's the key, is making this a lifestyle, making it a habit. So
absolutely.
they get that, they get the explanation as to why we eat certain foods and why we don't eat other foods. They get the explanation. There's actually even a grocery list just to make it easy to go grocery shopping. And then they have the accountability of submitting their weight. Sometimes just knowing that they have to submit their weight on Monday mornings, that holds people accountable. And so that accountability plus having all of the recipes and the just the support. We've got a messenger group chat with my clients and it's extremely active. Anytime anyone needs anything, including prayer, it's amazing. They'll reach out in the group and they instantly have we're all a big family. We
I love
just
that.
are going through life together and supporting one another. Plus, all of the membership portal, which has videos that are easily categorized. I've got recipe videos in there. I've got some where I do cooking demonstrations to show how to make things. I've got different products that make life easier because you although it's best to make your own, you sometimes need just some go-to products that you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
purchase. And so I've got a list of that. I've got albums in my Real Health Resolvers Facebook group that show different stores like Costco and BJ's Wholesale, Whole Foods and Publix and all the different stores. And then because for me, it makes it easier. If I'm going to go shopping, I want to just be able to see what does it look like that I'm trying to find. So I have photos of all that. So it's just every bit of support that you need to just jump in and get started. So, and I'm actually going to be offering, if anyone's listening to this now or before Monday, I'm going to be offering a Cyber Monday sale to join that Real Health Resolvers group. So it's a great time. You don't have to wait till January 1st. I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, I'll just wait till the new year and then I'll jump in. But you can do this now and you can be successful and go into the new year without having those extra 10, 15, or 20 pounds to lose, you know?
That's what I keep telling people. You've got 33 days. What are you going to do with it? You
Right.
can make so much change in a month, like
Oh,
huge
yeah.
amounts of change. Don't wait. So,
Right.
with your permission, I'm going to put the link to your group. And if you have a Cyber Monday link, let me know and I'll
Yeah.
put that in there, or you can comment it yourself
Okay.
into the whatever you call that invitation. I can't think of
Yeah.
the word. The event. That's the word.
Okay.
We'll drop it into the event, and then if people want to know more, they can either contact you or sign up. And I just think it's a great way to go. And if you need anything from me, if you want me to do anything, just let me know because I
Okay.
really love the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And absolutely. And the fact I love to cook and I love to bake and I love to make things healthier. So we have a good collaboration working here because I love what you're doing and it gives me ideas for new creations. So thank
Yeah,
you.
that's fantastic. Thank you. I love the work that you're doing. And I think it's
Thanks.
wonderful that you have the same heart. You want to help people. That's what it comes down to is we both desire to see people's lives changed. And we've both changed our lives and
Yep.
we know what it's like to get to this side. And we want people to join us and just let us grab their hand and help them.
I know that struggle and I know it's so hard to do on your own.
Yes.
And just if we can make anybody's life easier, people always ask me, why do you promote other coaches? First of all, I don't coach anymore. I just teach. But I think it's important to connect people together and get them the help they need for
Yes.
no other reason than I want to see people get healthier
Yeah. I love
in
that.
however that comes to pass, you know.
Yes.
And I eat the style that you teach, so I know that it works. I know that it's a great way to live your life and get off of the diabetic medications if you can, and really get your cholesterol under control. And by the way, cholesterol, they make it seem like it's the worst thing ever, but our brain needs cholesterol to be happy. There's a lot to this. And if people are struggling alone, I'd rather have them find somebody to work with that really makes it easier. And
Ab-
then you don't feel alone, much more successful.
Yes. Oh, it makes a huge difference having a community of support. And that's honestly what has helped me. You asked at the beginning, what has helped me keep my weight off this time? Truthfully, having that community of support and the fact that I'm still in this with them
Mhm.
because I have Hashimoto disease. So I have a very slow thyroid. I can gain 10 pounds in 2 days if I want it easily. So
Fun.
I can't let my guard down. So because of that, I'm constantly coming up with new ideas. We do challenges in my Real Health Resolvers group. So I've done bone broth challenge where we incorporate bone broth into our meals for over a 10-day period. And I created the meal plan. I've done a KISS challenge where people have to eat just 5 ingredients or less and post the ideas. We've done logging challenges where you log your food and post your logs. But all these things that we've done, if I'm
Those are already
totally
started.
honest, it's because it's helped me because I need it. So I feel like my clients get that benefit that I'm not somebody who is just already figured everything out and it's easy breezy, lemon squeezy. I have to still work at this. And because I do, I'm always creating and coming up with new ideas. It's all tailored under the same plan. I'm not changing my plan at all. The
Right.
plan stays the same, but it's just new ways to spark motivation and interest and get quick wins and stuff like that in the group. So
I
yeah,
call that the
it's
toolbox.
yes, yeah,
Sometimes we make minor tweaks and it just helps us move things forward and
that's right.
get the old engine from revving up again.
That's right. Yeah.
But wow, thank you so much for being with me. And as people ask questions, I've got it live on Facebook. So I anticipate we'll get some questions. I think a lot of people are out there shopping for Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Not me. I am a cyber person. I don't like to deal with all the crowds. I will, if you'll get me that link, we'll pop it in there so that
Okay.
everybody has access to it. And then hopefully people will get the help that they need from you.
So, yeah, and if anybody has questions, they can feel free to reach out directly. If they comment on the live, if you'll just tag me so that I make sure I see it, I'll try to keep popping in to see, but if you tag me, I'll definitely see it because I check my notifications. So just type my name and then ask whatever question you want, and I'll make sure that I go back and answer those.
Fabulous. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, thank you so much. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for you
Well,
and your
I'll keep in
friendship.
touch
And
because,
yeah,
I'm that way. But
well,
if I don't, if I don't get to talk to you before then, which I probably will, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas.
thank you. You
And
too.
make good use of those 33 days left we have in this year.
That's right. Enjoy that grandbaby.
Oh, you know I will.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
I know. All right. Thank you so much for having me. I greatly
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Take care. I'll be
All
seeing
right.
you soon.
All
Bye.
right. Take care. Bye.